is the wrong word, but I think I might fail.
I've never been much one for bucket lists, but there's this list that I've been keeping in my mind and really affecting my life in a negative way. It's my list of complexes. If you don't know, a complex is basically this idea that you have about yourself. Preconceived notion of sorts. Basically, you hear people talk about it a lot. It's like, oh, I'm just bad at that. Oh, I just can't talk to girls. Oh, I'm just bad at math. Those are probably just complexes. And the difference between that and just being objectively bad at math is that you're generally pretty sensitive about it. And your brain will protect you from thinking about it. But generally when people joke about it, you're like, ugh. And I noticed that I have a lot of these. And one of those is skateboarding. Well, no, it's more of that I have a complex about physically dexterous things that require a lot of micro movements to get done. So sports, skateboarding, getting really good at shred guitar, things like that. Basically, as a child, I had enough losses and not enough wins that I got really frustrated with it. And then I just assume that I'm bad at this sort of thing, and I tend to avoid that. And as an old-ass adult, I have the privilege of going back through and trying to recognize these and try to overcome these things and not let them control my life. Yes, I might find out that I'm just objectively bad at physically dexterous things, but I don't want to be afraid of that. I don't want to be controlled by it. I don't want to have to deal with being triggered by activities like this the rest of my life. If I take on these small ones, I can probably gain enough strength to take on some of the bigger ones that are actually having a pretty noticeably bad effect on my life. That's where skateboarding comes in.
Transition.
Skating was one of those little things that I just quit when I was a kid because I already had this complex at the time, so I was pretty much bound to fail unless I had a good teacher or some way to actually make this happen, which I didn't have a teacher and I didn't have YouTube, so I was pretty much screwed. The reality is I have a high chance of failure because I have a complex on this, so I need to be very careful to plan how I'm going to do this so I don't get frustrated and don't perpetuate this complex that I already have. So I need to put myself in what's called the
zone of proximal development.
Basically the optimum place where whenever you have victory, you feel like you accomplished something because it was difficult, but it's not so difficult that you feel frustrated. So to find this zone, I just went through a bunch of YouTube tutorials and found like what are some reasonable expectations for a brand new skater. So here's the goal. So within 1 month, I wanted to be able to learn how to skate, just kind of basic skate and not fall off the board, and be able to land what's called a pop shove-it. I want to land 2 of those in a skate session to know that I actually learned it and it's not just a fluke. So let's get skating.
Okay, so the first 2 days I just focused on riding, like just learning how to like not fall off the board, how to kick, how to like where to put my foot, and just following some basic YouTube tutorials. Almost got run over! Just spending a lot of time on the board, getting a little bit more comfortable, getting balanced, getting to know the basics of everything. Then I got a little ambitious and tried to ollie. It actually didn't go too horribly, and ran some more tutorials and just trying to get a bunch of reps and learn this the best way possible, as well as getting my buddy Kenny to look at what I've done so far.
Hello. So I'm probably gonna fail. I'm trying to do something that I have years of programming and pushing me in a certain direction, and that have cemented deeper and deeper into a functional reality. And if I can't start undoing this now, like maybe it'll never go away. And I'm finding that the deeper I investigate this particular complex, I'm finding more and more complexes. I'm like, I'm gonna address this one complex I see. It's like, oh, well, this complex is being contributed by this other complex, which is contributed by this other, and I'm just finding more and more like just issues and these ideas I have of myself that were just coping mechanisms to get me by at a certain time, and they've just become my own persona, my own self-perception. Yeah, I mean, I'm not scared is the wrong word, but kind of concerned.
Made a bit of a mistake in my planning and all this. So I got a month to do something I think is pretty reasonable to learn how to do, but I also play a lot of music and I scheduled a pretty big album release kind of in the middle of this. So I haven't been able to spend barely any time last couple of days like working on this stuff. So whatever little bit I learned, I've probably unlearned at this point. So I'm trying to catch up and I got a lot of work to do on music. So I really it's been about an hour working on this today and just need to hit this hard and focus on it. So obviously the point of this wasn't necessarily about skateboarding, it's about figuring out what stops me from doing things, and a common one that I've found is that I don't like not being good. I don't like not being good at skateboarding or whatever I'm trying at the time. It kind of got me this bigger thing, is like the only way that I'm able to actually make progress in skateboarding or anything is that I acknowledge that I'm not good. To start with wherever I am and kind of zooming out to like a moral perspective, like give yourself permission to see yourself as you really are, which is usually not good. So the rules of skateboarding are X. Like the site doing this is what being good is, and you can match this criteria via your action. And the same thing with morality. Whatever your definition of truth is, like if you're not matching that with your execution, then you're not good. You're not a good person, just like you're not a good skateboarder unless you can match these things. And like
give myself permission to see that is required for me to progress in skateboarding, and for me to progress morally, it's required for me to see myself as potentially not good if I'm not able to execute on the rules of whatever I believe is true. Day. I did 2 on 2 separate days, but for me to succeed, I gotta hit 2 in one night. Gotta hit it tonight. No matter how long it takes, it's gotta happen. Here we go. Damn it! Yes! Woo! Yes, sir. First one I got on tape. I got 2. Just need to get tighten this up, but go on, I got 2 tonight. Yes! This has been a strangely emotional experience. It's a part of me that's like been there for 20-ish years. Just affected my behavior in just such profound ways, and finally giving myself permission to see me, like I'm meeting me for the first time. Like, cause I want to see myself as so much better than I am. I need to see myself as like having worth and use, and do whatever it takes for me and others to see myself as something else, something valuable. So, I guess first of all, thank you to every person who's been near me, especially recently, and giving me permission and desire to try to examine stuff, and accepting me even though I don't even want to see myself, and I want no, much less accept it. And you guys deal with me, and you still want me around, and you still want me there even though I'm incompetent, even though I'm bad at so many things. This is where I drop some wisdom and inspire, and like I don't think I'm qualified to do that. This is just my experience, and it's been so freeing to look in the mirror and see me, as opposed to look in the mirror and see something that I want to see. Thank you for making it this far, and I guess I'll see you guys next time.